Waheguru Ji Ke Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Sat Sri Akal, Mera Naam Graham McGregor Hay, Ontario's Minister of Citizenship and Multiculturalism, and your MPP for Brampton North. Today we celebrate the birth of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, whose message of equality, compassion, and service continues to inspire millions around the world. His teachings remind us to live life with humility, to uplift others, and to see the divine in all. On this special day, may we carry forward his legacy by spreading kindness and standing up for justice. Wishing you and your family a very happy Gurpurab. Mere valon, tono or tode pavarnu, Gurpurab dia, lak lak fidenya.
This is the correct religion. This is the religion that all of humanity needs to be a part of Islam. And we will not stop until it enters every home.
So know this, that Islam will enter every house. Every house. Don't worry about the Islamophobes. They can yap all they want, their children will be Muslim.
And I'm going out as leader of this country to reaffirm Ireland's commitment to tackling climate change, and also saying, notwithstanding opinion globally, that Ireland believes in the science, believes that the planet is at risk.
All right, y'all, the Islamic Caliphate in New York starts now. That means we are all converting to Islam. I've already got one friend converted tonight. So the lines to begin conversion will begin tomorrow morning, bright and early, 8 a.m. There will be mosques being built on every single block.
Yeah, I mean, I voted for it today. I didn't love voting for it, but I felt it was necessary. So it's hopefully we can get back to a point where our democracy feels strong and healthy. It's not right now.
Oftentimes we've even found as legislators, when we go into these courts, the term violent crime is even used when people are stealing packages. Violent crime is even used when people are accused of burglary and there happens to be a housing unit in that same dwelling. So violence is an artificial construction. And we have to be very clear that what is happening here with these district attorneys, that is violence. That is violence of the highest degree.
Hey folks, welcome back to the program. It is Wednesday night, the 5th of November 2025. The election is over. Democrats are all excited about their obvious wins in New Jersey, Virginia, New York City, California Prop 50. Anything less than a major win by the Democrats would have been a disaster for them, yet they're crowing as if they won something big. Not even remotely surprised that they won. So just a second here. Getting weird messages telling me my bit rate is too high. Well, I don't select the bit rate. YouTube does that, so that's on YouTube. I'm expecting a phone call here, folks. I've got my phone in front of me. If it comes in, I'll answer it, so I'll apologize ahead of time. I have to go on mute. But welcome back to the program, everyone. Happy tomorrow to the folks in South Africa, Europe, and points further east. It is already the 6th of November there, and early morning hours. But here it is, just 10 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States on this Wednesday evening. And so I hope you like that little montage of videos. Imagine Christians stopping and pulling the cross out and holding mass on the property of a mosque. Imagine Christians occupying Tahrir Square and experiencing their faith and praying, having a prayer service. Imagine Christians doing any of the things that were done here that many people find deeply offensive. And then also it's even more offensive being called an Islamophobe because people are intruding in your space with their abrasive approach to their faith. Yeah, imagine that happening. Yep. So welcome, folks. AJ Quinn, Diane Amarias Schreidem, And then threatened my cat last night. Stop being such a drama queen. Dogzilla's here too. Shannon, Courtney McBride. Utah Warriors have suspend operations, will not participate. Yeah, I think Major League Rugby is dead. Yeah, I think Major League Rugby is going under. Yeah, that's why I quit covering it, because I didn't see a future in it, and it's in my view, it's not been very well run. It's a shame. It had such great opportunity, had some big money behind it initially, and it lost a lot of steam. And it's really unfortunate in a time when Major League Rugby should be profiting from the coming World Cup here. In fact, it's going the opposite direction. Thank you, Courtney. Rest in peace, Utah Warriors. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Had some fantastic play. There's some great players. Another team bites the dust. That takes the league down to what I think about 10 teams now, if they can even survive with that level of competition. The problem with America is that what should have been done with this league is it shouldn't have, since they didn't have national television contracts, they should have focused on a regional approach. They should have picked a California-based approach, a West Coast-based approach, and maybe something here in the central mid-Atlantic region, and gone from there. But instead of paying a fortune to fly people from Seattle to Houston, Houston to New York, New York to Utah, and all the hotels and the requisite cost of that, the medical insurance, they really did themselves in. America is a massive country, and you have to have billions behind you in order to succeed as a professional sports league. It doesn't work any other way. You have to have a lot of money. Let's see who else is here. So thank you for that update, Courtney. I didn't see that, but I had a feeling that Major League Rugby was not going to make it this season. We'll see what happens. Rebecca, welcome to you. Sloth Puppy, welcome back. Emerencia Quinn, Kathy Price, Mitten, Dogzilla. Who else we got here? Cherry, Denise Bellingham. Thank you for the $2 super chat there, Courtney. I appreciate that. Malcolm Clothy's in on his boat. Loretta, Julia, welcome to you. Yeah, guys. So, what are your thoughts? Did anyone find that montage remotely interesting? Were you offended by it? Did you find it offensive in one way or another? Did it offend you as a Muslim? Did it offend you as a Christian, as an atheist? I don't know. I mean, were you offended? I'm just curious. So inquiring minds want to know. Last night I broke a pair of my reading glasses at the election. Wow, that's how I used to be able to see up close. It is getting fuzzy there. I didn't realize how fuzzy. These glasses are filthy too. Yes, they are. Very dirty. Let me see if I can wipe them off. Yeah, no, Courtney, it's the same thing with me. The traumatic brain injury and the way the NFL dismissed it, the wokeism that goes on in the NFL, a majority black league, and we're being lectured to by people about racism when they're perfectly good white athletes can play the sport, but they choose to go a different direction, and that's fine. That's their prerogative. It's a business. They can do what they like. I mean, I don't watch BET, and BET is perfectly fine to exist. They cater to a market that doesn't interest me. I can only watch so much of Tyler Perry before it gets old. It's the same shtick all the time. It's the same thing over. It's like watching Benny Hill. It's the same running joke. He thinks he's funny. Tyler Perry's made some good videos, but it gets old after a while. Anyway, folks, how you all doing out there? What's the word? What's the word? So, hang on a second. Yep, I was definitely not there when I made. Yeah. So, where is this number at? I don't even know who this is. I got to check a phone number here real quick and see something. The problem with phone numbers, it's very annoying. We used to have phone books. The internet ought to be free to look up phone numbers. Why it isn't, I don't know. Really? Huh. Why would they be calling me at 6 o'clock? That's an odd phone call. The number is associated with Milton Hershey Medical Center. Islam versus the Mormons now, that might be an interesting showdown. I was a bit concerned that they said they will be in everyone's home. Then they're in your face in this program. Yeah, exactly. They're in your face. Yep. Conrad, what's going on? I used to love watching the Wayans brothers tonight. He's there. Well, yeah, the Wayans brothers in living color was far better than Tyler Perry's ever been. I mean, I'm not speaking ill of Tyler Perry, but it's just his shtick gets old. So anyway, the car guard army. You keep forgetting about that. The Neanderthals, the K9s, and the car guards. We've kind of forgotten about that, haven't we? So I got a phone call while I was at the elections yesterday. I took it. It was a number I didn't recognize, but it was a local number. And it was the local discount store, the Dollar Tree store. They called me because I'd left a note with them. And I got to thank these people. They work at a place where they're not paying a lot of money, and the goods and services there cost very little. It's very inexpensive. But they called me to let me know that, in fact, I'd asked them some time ago if they ever get in the Haribo wild berry gummy bears, to please let me know. I will buy all they get, because I tried to order them online. I couldn't order them online. They weren't available. So I figured they weren't carrying them anymore. And then, much to my surprise and chagrin, last night they called me. I answered the phone. They said, "This is so-and-so from the Dollar Tree. We got 2 cases of wild berry, and we've been trying to reach you. We couldn't get you by voicemail." I never got the voicemail. Anyway, I'm sure they left it, but the computers didn't push it to me. So they said, "We're going to put them on the shelf for sale tomorrow if you can't come in." And I said, "No, I'll be in. I'll take them. Don't give them away." So I went in this morning after my interview with colleague Creel, and I bought 2 cases. There's only 12 in a case, so it's not a lot. But yeah, yay, bo. Went and got myself some of those. Used to love watching, Wayne Brothers were fantastic. Robert Franklin Moore, what's going on? Anyway, so tonight, how we doing, folks? Very small audience tonight. What's going on? Is it just, is it Kleine Zadag? Is it Kleine Zadag? Is that the problem? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe something else is going on. I have looked up some news to share with you, but I don't know if I'm really in the mood to talk about news tonight. What about you guys? I have someone I know that has started an NGO to help refugees. And this was specifically because he's interested in helping South Africans. This is something that people are asking me to do, but with all that's on my plate, there's just no time for me to set something like this up. I can certainly collaborate with organizations like this, and I don't know that I will collaborate with this, so I'm just mentioning it. There we go. Keystone Refugee Services, helping them build new lives here. Learn more. Let's see if the website's up and running. There you go. Oh, no, nothing there yet. Okay. About us. Okay. Working as emergency medical physician, support refugees in our region became quickly apparent. Yep. Keystone Refugee Service established in October 2025 in Bucks County. Yep. It supports assistance in housing, job placement, school, enrollment, community assimilation. There you go. About Pennsylvania. There you go. Why Pennsylvania? Why Bucks County? Well, Bucks County has a long tradition. It's a little bit too expensive for me. A lot of hospitals, industrial workplaces. Median income was $112,000, 47% higher than the state median income. Well, that's a good reason to go there. Violent crime is 85% lower than the U.S. average. And the county's always been ranked in the 94th percentile for safety. I mean, it's about 94% safer than most U.S. counties. Look at the covered bridge there. All right, Bucks County, PA. I've been there many times. Yeah, Hangover Thursday. That could be what it is. Could be Hangover Thursday. Chat is very slow tonight. I'm exhausted, guys. If none of you guys aren't up for the evening discussion, then just let me know. I'm kind of tired. I mean, I've been pushing this for 3 days. Tomorrow morning will be the first time I get to sleep and relax for a little bit, but then I've got to get busy because we got a big meeting for the veterans tomorrow night, and a big weekend coming up with France. Yeah, France. Let me take a look at that. I haven't looked at that this week to take a look at what's going on with Flow Rugby. I've got to double check to make sure I can get this other game. Oh yeah, USA is playing Georgia this weekend after getting slaughtered by France last week. My goodness. Actually, at 7 a.m., that game is on. I could probably cover the USA game. USA versus Georgia. I'll be darned. Look at that. Flow Rugby has the game. That's unusual. I wasn't expecting that. 7 o'clock. But the problem, I think, is at 8 o'clock is the game I want to watch. So I'm looking at Samoa, Paraguay, England A versus All Blacks 15. What else we got here? Samoa. They have Samoa versus Namibia. I'll be darned. So it's on Flow Rugby. Well, that's good. I thought I was going to have to watch it elsewhere. So that's exciting. This is a Rugby World Cup qualifier for the Reposh tournament. I'll definitely be covering this. So that's good. 10:30. Wow, this is looking good. So then the Springboks are on, hopefully 12:30, not 12. Georgia versus Japan. Wait a second. Where's the Springboks game at? Whoa. Where's the Springboks game? Did I miss it? What is going on here? Why won't the Springboks be on here? They're playing France. It's not listed as being on here. Wait, that's the 13th. Wait a second. No, okay. There's some screwed up stuff here. Games that should be on are not on here. Where is the Springboks game? What the hell? Georgia versus USA. So the Namibia game is the next week they have it. episodic sort of thing. So they only have one of those qualifying games, and that's the one against Samoa. I don't understand that. And where's my Springboks game? Every Springboks test match is on here. And it's Wednesday. This better get posted soon or I'm going to be angry. Wow. Where to watch France versus South Africa rugby. It's on Peacock. Okay, well, thankfully I've got Peacock. Why do they get it? Huh. Let me just double check to make sure that's the case. Yeah. That says it's at 3 p.m. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Means I'll have to get my crabs early. That doesn't make sense. That means it's at 9, 10, it's 10 o'clock South Africa time. Is that game really on at 10 o'clock South Africa time? Let me take a look at that. Rugby Internationals, fixtures. Here we go. All right. All right. So USA versus Georgia, Ireland versus Japan, France versus Italy, South Africa. That game has been moved. That was supposed to be a noon game, I think. So it's 3:10 my time. I'll be darned. Wow. Okay. So I'll have to look at the qualification for the. Is my audience still here? Did everybody leave? You guys still here? Okay, good. Why is it on top chat? Okay, there we go. No, it looks like it's under Peacock TV, which is a ripoff. That's some nonsense. It's from NBC. They've making us pay. Yeah, 10 p.m. South Africa time. Thank you, Paul. So that's going to be late for me. So much for crabs on Saturday. Better get them Friday. Okay. Far leftists slow down pushing wokeness. Looks like their transition pushing the Islam thing. Yeah, it is. Well, they pushed the trans. That's died. So they're going to switch. If you have news, then give it and go. Get a well-deserved rest. Have a shorter session. I understand. No, it's okay, Malcolm. There was no chat. I thought people were just bored, or make sure people aren't bored. That's what I'm worried about. All right, so that's when this game is on. So that's at 3 p.m. my time. So that I shouldn't have the problem I had with Flow Rugby last week because this is NBC Peacock, so that shouldn't be a problem. But that doesn't take care of the. I got to get to the World Rugby here and find where these. Rugby Pass TV. Okay, Rugby Pass TV. Let me go look at that for the Namibia game. Yes. Okay. Am I logged into my account? Yes, I am logged into my account. Okay, Rugby Pass TV. I'm looking for. Okay, Belgium, Namibia. That game is on at 10:30. Okay, good. So 10:30. Okay, I can watch that one at 10:30. So let's go back to what I said a moment ago. So the plan will be the following. Okay, so Georgia, USA, I'll cover that game, 7. Then at 10:30, I'll cover the Namibia-Belgium game. Okay, that'll get me to 12:30. Then I guess we can do some news, or we can do Italy, Australia, but I'm not really into that. And then we'll have France and South Africa at 3. There you go. So that's the games. I will do the USA game. Cool. But I got to bounce from one network to another, so it's going to be interesting. Also got to make the banners. Yeah, we're stuck at 113,000 now, folks. We're not moving. Oh, I lost 3 subscribers since earlier. Wow, look at that. 3 subscribers disappeared. So I did that video earlier about South African, the refugee thing. That's not getting anything. The short, how much short do? Short's got 5,000, so I was offering advice. 6,300. Okay, well, that's good. It's not great, though. The other one I got 23,000 on, so the shorts. Now, why did CBS fire this journalist? That one's that's getting some viewers. That's got 32,000. It's not great, but I got 32 subscribers in that video, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's interesting. Huh. What kind of comments did I get? 227 comments. Hi, Chris. I had to endure an evening listening to this woman years ago at a work function. Whoever thought it would be a great idea to have her at an end of year function. Clearly, I had no idea how to arrange. They have no idea how to arrange a fun evening. Thank you, being open and honest. You're one of the few who do proper journalism. Thank you for that. Very kind of you, Greg and Maximilian Kaiser. Wish I knew you were here in South Africa. Would have loved to attend one of your meetings. I had 18. Okay. And someone says, Loretta says, very well said, Colonel. People showed up your meet and greets to meet you in person, not for the refugee stuff, but to meet an amazing person who has so much passion for South Africa. Thank you. I think people came also for the refugee thing. And someone thanked me for my professional way I handled it. There's a hello. Okay, awesome video, Colonel. Okay. Clearly stated the facts, putting her in her place. She tried to be relevant, but also we saw totally irrelevant. Cool. Chris, you have character. Your yes is yes and your no is no. Well, that's true. Wow, I would also struggle to keep my eyes dry if I met Colonel Chris Wyatt. He's a national hero to many South African reserves, Medal of Honor. Wow, that is very kind of you to say that. Thank you very much. Wow. Recognized her immediately. Think she's a lefty stir, but excellent composure, Chris. Well done, sir. Someone says I'm a national treasure. You don't have to explain yourself to her, but I know you were trying to be respectful. Watching the video, it's obvious how she's fishing for something used against you. Exactly. Sinette, exactly right. That's what was going on. That was an ambush. See, that was an ambush, and that's probably why nobody ever saw it. Did anybody ever see CBS News or Newsroom Africa or any of those outlets ever show any footage from my OP Plus? No. If you did, let me know. I'd love to see where it's at. I'll tell you why. Because they were looking for a gotcha moment. But there was no gotcha moment. Because I just tell the truth. Unvarnished truth. It hurts people's feelings, but yeah, they couldn't do anything with it. Yep. You should have got a notification for this. This video was posted more than 30 minutes before it went live, so you should have gotten a notification. Yep. No, it's not going to be a fun game playing France at home, but they should win it. What is going? Why is everybody mad at Morning Shot? I mean, did something happen over there? I don't want to get into a tiff, but I mean, a lot of people said they had to unsubscribe. What's going on over there? A lot of people are angry at him. UPS is conducting mass layoffs. I didn't see that. It would be the tariffs, yeah. I'm sure there's a big parcel decline at UPS. You're probably right about that, Courtney. It's the impact of the tariffs. People are putting off purchases, waiting for that to get settled. Well, Mitten, I haven't had any deliveries lately. I don't have any money. All my travels have drained my bank accounts. I'm broke. Not broke, but anyway. All right, cool. Yeah, okay, so we've sorted it out. USA on the road to Georgia, then Namibia and Belgium for the Rapage tournament to qualify for the final 24th slot for the World Cup. Hopefully Namibia pulls it off. Let me send Jacques a message. All right, so I just sent Jacques Borger a message asking or wishing him luck for the tournament this weekend. So, Lorenz, what's going on? Oh, my shoulder and my arm are sore today. What's going on with that? It was the supermoon last night. I reported on it, and then I got busy. I was so worried I didn't want to hit deer coming back from the turning in the voting results last night. So that kind of sucks. Looks like I'm not going to hear back from the person that was trying to get in touch with me. That's unfortunate. Yeah, well, the long-term decline is only because people aren't buying stuff, but I think that'll come back. I think that'll come back, folks. I think that'll come back. Folks, I got to tell you, I'm still chagrined that I got recognized the night before the election. When I was in a local supermarket, someone's like, Colonel Chris Wyatt. I said, yeah, I watch your show. I've come to, not be surprised by that in South Africa, but I was surprised by that there. Yeah, I missed the supermoon. That's a shame. Well, it happens a few times a year, so all right. Somebody said, you talk to her like you normally do. Present the facts. Those guests were not all seeking refuge status friends for meet and greet. Yep. Somebody says, thanks, CBS. For the first time in years, you've done a great job. Speaking of which, that reminds me. I got to look for something. Okay. All right. Somebody said, Deborah is amazing. Look at her work. Go and look. She is the real deal, objective and honest. Really? Great news. She was a perfect journalist. I was at Open Plus that day, and I saw her standing there with her sour face. Yep. Pata, was that the angry orange lady on ETV? You handed Deborah well. She was looking for cracks. She was. And so was the Dutch film crew. I mean, guys, I don't know what they'll air whenever they do their documentary, but the Dutch film crew, because I said I'd give them time, but then I had to go because I was running over and I had to go get to the meeting with Thea. And they cornered me as I left. And to be fair, I did speak to them, so I did talk to them. The guy put the microphone right in my face. So what gives President Trump the right to let South Africans go to America as refugees? And I said, the Immigration Nationality Act of 1980. It's U.S. law. Well, Amazon has its own delivery services now. That's another reason why volumes are down at UPS and they're down at the U.S. Postal Service, because Amazon is now delivering a big portion of their packages. Anytime they've got a warehouse in a vicinity, they put a fleet on the ground or they pay people, contracted people to deliver stuff in their personal cars, but it's more and more Amazon trucks. And so they have picked up a lot of delivery that used to be the Postal Service and UPS. And I think that both UPS, FedEx, and to a lesser degree FedEx, because FedEx really wasn't used much by Amazon, but the Postal Service and Amazon and UPS missed that boat. They did not catch that. They did not catch on the fact that Amazon was going to be ambitious and build their own delivery network. And that's what they've done. So think of it like this, a hub and spoke, just like airlines. So you have, let's say, Carlisle, you have a warehouse. We have an Amazon warehouse in Carlisle. Also have one over in Lewisberry on about 30 kilometers east of there. So 2 Amazon distribution warehouses, which service the Harrisburg, York, and Carlisle area, and all of the stuff in between. So those places, they build out a network of delivery trucks that spread their tentacles out after the big shipments come into the warehouse and go all over. And it's a brilliant model. It's amazing. But it comes with size, the heft. You have to be big enough to do that. And then you can make it very profitable. So that's why the Postal Service and UPS are also experiencing. It's not just the tariffs, but it's also Amazon is doing a lot of these deliveries themselves. Well, I saw, okay, well, let me ask what everyone else thinks of them. So these are the photos she's talking about. Excuse me, I didn't comment because I'm just busy. You know, I can't comment on everything people send me. So she did a baby Chris. So here you go. I'm not sure I like the shoes. I'm not sure what they look like, something you put on 65-year-olds and 2-year-olds, but it is whoops, that's not what I want. Here you go. There you go. The baby Chris. She did another baby Chris. Pikachu's in the background, and so actually that's funny because I don't know how it knows I have a wooden floor, but I have a wooden floor. How in the world did it know that? That looks like my floor and the floorboards and the map on the wall. Because you don't see the floorboards behind me because it's not that low. In the U.S., the first full moon in November is called a beaver moon because it's when beaver would den and they would be hunted down. So there you go. There's baby Chris. He's back again. I would play it, but there was music in the background. I got a copyright claim on that last time. And he's even got a purple T-shirt on. Check it out. That was my hair color when I was that age. Oh, you didn't do that? Oh, I'm sorry. That's not you. I'm sorry. That's not Kathy. I'm sorry. That's not you. That's what's her name? Hang on. Sorry. That's right. Yeah, that's Danielle. Danielle sent that to me. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was her. Yeah. Sorry, that wasn't you, Kathy. It was Danielle. My apologies. Yes, I get sent so much stuff. That's what I was thinking. So she also made this one. Danielle made this one. She's the one that made the baby Chris memes. She took my audio and put it over baby Chris. So this is she made this too. It is cute. I remember the videos. They're so funny. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Jacques Biafricano is out of here. I don't wear Velcro shoes. That's what I'm getting at, Holden. I don't wear Velcro shoes. I didn't have a beard when I was a kid, man. Come on. Come on. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. That's funny. Anyway. Yeah, so, okay, let me see what Kathy sent me. So, well, we had the baby Chris. Let me see if I can find it. I mean, where's that at? I'll risk the copyright thing on this. I mean, because it's just that funny. So let me see if I can find it. B-A-B-Y. Oh, we had the baby Trump. It's not here. Do I have it there, maybe? No. Oh, man. Where's it at? I had baby Chris. Well, that sucks. Maybe I moved it. Anyway. Oh, well. And we had those. Remember we used to play those? But I got copyright stuff again. Let me see. I'll try it this way. No. No, it's not there. I don't know where it went. Baby, I had the damn thing. Anyway, so whatever. Let me see what Kathy said. Kathy said she sent me something. Is that correct? Let me see. Okay. Oh, no, that's okay. That's okay. I see what you did there. That's okay. No, I put the video out before that, so no worries. But where'd the baby Chris thing go, man? That was in here, wasn't it? I had it here. Maybe I deleted it here too. Had the baby Chris, man. That was awesome. Here's Bob. I think I deleted it some time ago. That was a lot of fun, but I mean, I got a copyright thing on, so I quit using it. Velcro orthotics. Stop it. Yeah. Yeah, baby Chris. Remember that Utopia? Where the hell is that at, man? I mean, let's see if it's still there, because I got it from her, so I don't think it's still going to be there because it's so long ago. She did it months ago. Yeah, I doubt it's there. No, it's... Oh, wait. Oh, it's going. But that's not it, I don't think. No, that's not it. Come on, it's still there. I mean, she didn't delete it. That's cool. Come on. It's a video. It's so funny. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I think this is without the sound. Okay, let me see. Okay, now maybe I have it now without the music. She redid it. Okay, what's going on here? Why is it not refreshing? Oh, I'm going to save this as. Save as. There it is. Why? I'm searching for it, and there it is right there. What the hell? I searched for the damn thing, and it didn't come up, and now I look for it here, and I'm trying to save it. The name is there. So that's weird. Okay, let me try this again. Okay. I'll do it this way. Baby asterisk. Okay, it's not there. Just this one. So here we go. It's so funny. Hang on. So come on. A lot of freaking moving around here just to get up. So, all right, here we go. So let's see how this looks. Okay, we can probably do something with this one. I can put my own music behind it. There we go. Okay, here we go. It's so funny. Yeah, they didn't like the baby Wyatt. I broke the internet. Baby shark, doo 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 doo. Baby shark, doo doo doo. Here we go with that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she zoomed in. It was better when it was out further. So, if you're here, Danielle, can we work on that one? Get it back out. Just keep music. I love those little people and who would love to make them. Yeah, you have to pay for that program. Baby Chris was awesome. I enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Haley Senecal. Yeah, that was great. No, we did it all when we had all the baby Trump stuff, man. And I must have moved these things. I don't know why I would have moved them. Or they just have a different name. I didn't save them under the right name. So this is when I need AI to search and, hey, find me in this thing. So, baby, I got one of the Trump ones here that I saved as baby. So hang on.
You're watching me, folks, but not sending stars, not following? Disgraceful. Let me get this straight. You enjoy the voice, the hair, the greatness, but no support, no follow? That's like sneaking into Mar-a-Lago and not saying hello. We don't do that. Real patriots support, follow, they like, they share, bigly. So
Anyway, but that wasn't even the better one. There was some better baby Trumps out there. Yeah. Anyway, those are fun. I think that's a fad that died out, but so it was kind of fun when it lasted. Anyway. Yeah, that was good stuff. Arena Watt, welcome to you. Loretta's enjoying it. I enjoyed it too. Those were funny, man. Yeah, she put music to a couple of them. She made a couple of them, and they were further out, and it was really well done. It was, but there was music in the one. I don't know if she could strip the music out, and it was a problem. Okay, let me go back and see more comments on that video. Another complete embarrassment to South Africa. Who can forget that snorkel on her face? Sir, don't let her get you down. She didn't. She always looks angry. Paying for decades, just another controversy shark. Bad news. Years ago, she became very annoyed with fellow broadcaster John Robbie, who had started to call her princess because she married an African prince. Didn't know that. Why does the refugee program keep changing? It's frustrating. Now it's going, I think it's Greek to us understand how the dashboard works. And a lot of people want to go and work and be good workers. Well, then, you're not welcome then. I'm sorry, buddy. That's not what the program's for. Okay, so let's just deal with that right now. Let's talk refugee stuff. There's a comment on my video about me and the interaction with her. And so someone posts something about the refugee program. They're frustrated. They just want to come and work in America. Well, then apply to come here as an immigrant. Apply to come here for a work visa. We're not asking for workers. This isn't for work. I mean, I can't believe people have it still stuck. Yeah. Is the New York mayor election? Yeah, it is. Fully in the hands of Mondami. Well, once he becomes mayor, he's not sworn in yet, so give it time. No, they don't know what they've done. They're just a bunch of idiots. They're a bunch of idiots. They'll pay a price. New York will fall. Yep, let me see what's going on over here. Okay, nothing. Okay, right. Anyway. Good interaction with her 20 years ago for her stance in Israel. She was a radical left-winger. I didn't trust her. They don't trust her now. She's a star of her 3-person show. Me, myself, and I. We have our own Greta. Look at her face. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. We have our own Greta. That's funny. Dogzilla, I answered that. I read that 3 times last night. You know that. So people can go read for themselves. Stop being a douche. Oh, boy. So I'm going to do more of the video from my South Africa thing when I was in OP Plus, because I've got more of that video. I'll get around to it. I got 10,000 of that funny dance video of those ministers dancing in Vietnam. That was pretty funny. So my videos aren't doing great, but they're doing better than they were recently. So anyway. Whatever. We'll just keep plugging along here on YouTube and do the best we can. That's all we can do, right? How do viewers find my content? Okay. AI is telling me. Oh, just a second. Well, now I asked F. Okay. So in the last 28 days, your channel received 1,100,000 views. This was leading source. Browse features brought in 62%. I gained 89,000 views from suggested videos. Your shorts content contributed 86,000, which is pretty good, 8%. Okay. Well, that's nice. I like that. This isn't from YouTube, though. I think it's from a service I pay for. Summarize my latest video performance. That's interesting. No news on the vote. Although I did talk last night that apparently 12 Democrats have quietly, privately approached the Republicans to say they want to vote after the election last night. They said they want to vote. Click-through rate 7.7%. Average duration is 10 minutes, 20 seconds. I don't think that's accurate. But I've lost 3 subscribers since I logged in here earlier, so that's interesting. But we continue to march slowly. That's just how it goes, folks. Just how it goes. Anyway, the salad days aren't always here. It's not always about getting big crowds. Trump administration is going to reduce traffic at 40 airports across the U.S. starting Friday if the shutdown continues. Aviation administration will reduce flights at dozens of major airports. 10% of air traffic at 40 busy airports will be cut, impacting thousands of flights. People already have tickets, and this is because the government shutdown. Trump has kept it going as long as he can, but the Democrats not voting for a flat spending bill are going to cause us to lose. Oh, here's the dash cam from the UPS plane in Louisville. Okay. I've never seen this. Let me see. Okay. Oh my gosh.
People and injuring at
Okay.
This moment captured on this dashcam video shows when the plane crashed, ripping through local.
Wow, that was wicked. That's crazy. My goodness, that was a wicked explosion. Gee, many crickets. A lot of smoke came from it. Was it? I guess it was fully laden with fuel because it was taken off, I'm guessing. That is a massive explosion. Gee, many crickets. Oof, that's crazy. Crazy. Anyway, I'm going to save this one. So that's Namibia, got it. Georgia versus USA. So I got 3 games on Saturday and they're spaced out. So, okay, all right, cool. Civil rights leaders, with a quotation around, are complaining that media coverage of terrorism makes an Arab town look bad. Civil rights activists in Dearborn, Michigan say media coverage of an alleged Islamic terrorist plot foiled by FBI invites bigotry toward the mostly Arab town, according to the Detroit Free Press. Former Democratic political candidate Nasir Bedouin, as well as leaders of the Arab American Civil Rights League and the Council of American Islamic Relations, slammed so-called Islamophobic reactions to the potential pro-ISIS attack the FBI says it thwarted on Friday. 2 men are accused of stockpiling weapons and scouting out target locations while in contact with unnamed co-conspirators, and multiple people in the group live or met with one another in Dearborn. Dearborn, as recorded, has 54.5% Middle Eastern North African in 2020 census. It became the first U.S. city to make Eid al-Fitr a paid holiday in 2023. You see the national media, what they're doing to Dearborn, the attack and the lies, so anything like that just adds to the fervor and feeds into people who want to hate on Muslims and want to hate on Dearborn and make Dearborn the Sharia law capital. Well, Dearborn was an Anglo-Saxon settlement, and now it's not. So do you have a problem with that? You have a problem admitting the truth? The alleged ISIS supporters arrested Friday considered targeting LGBTQ-friendly bars and clubs in Ferndale for their armed assault. An unnamed juvenile co-conspirator in the alleged terrorist conspiracy was an ideological follower of Muslim preacher Ahmad Musa Jibril, who has been a public figure in Dearborn for years in support of ISIS and Sharia law. The juvenile consulted Jibril's father over the phone about when to conduct the attack, asking in vague terms when to do a good deed. Bedouin described his community as safe, welcoming, diverse, a city that is growing and has a lot to offer. No, it's not. But these headlines have a direct harmful impact on Dearborn. It carries the fear and anxiety of a community that may never be an end to the anti-Arab racism and Islamophobia they've faced since 9/11. Yeah, see, this is just bullshit. These people pull this in his heartstrings and lie about it. They lie about it. America wasn't attacked on 9/11 by a rampaging right wing of Christian zealots. Oh, yes, Thanksgiving's going to be a major problem. That's why I think the Democrats are going to cave soon. They want a promise of a vote on renewing the debt-laden, Unaffordable Care Act subsidies. Yeah, it was full of fuel and takeoff. Yeah, it was head to Hawaii. That's why I thought it was taking off here. It hit a fuel storage tank. Okay, maybe that explains. That's because that was a massive explosion. See, Dogzilla, why do you have to be such an ass? There are no tax cuts for billionaires. There were no tax cuts for billionaires. You got a tax cut too. Why are you being an ass? And who cares if billionaires got tax cuts? Most of you shitheads don't even pay any taxes. Most Americans who make $50,000 or less pay nothing in federal income tax. Nothing. They get it all back. So why do you care if there's a tax cut for billionaires? Why does that hurt your feelings? And it wasn't a tax cut for billionaires. The biggest beneficiaries of the tax cut that Trump passed previously and that were extended in the big beautiful bill were the middle class. Yes, Nicole, I'm not surprised. That's why we're only at 111 tonight. They edited out the stand-up comedy. Yeah, that's interesting. You haven't ever received notification. Unsubscribe, Nicola. Resubscribe and hit the all notification button. Try that. Well, Congress never should have been paid. They shouldn't be paid. They're not working. Yep. No, Dogzilla is moaning about billionaires getting tax cuts. But see, what he does is a lie. It's an act of omission. The tax cuts were for everybody who paid taxes. See, I love that about the political level. Oh, the billionaires got tax cuts. Yeah, the only ones paying taxes are billionaires. What are you talking about, Ivan Norkia? What WhatsApp group? There's probably about 45 billion WhatsApp groups. What are you talking about? What WhatsApp group do you want to be in? All right, since that's come up, I'll take a look at my refugee groups. Let's see if this is still here. Oh, I think that's another one. Okay, let me try this. I found another one she did. It didn't disappear yet either. Yeah, this is the one where I got a copyright claim. This is insane. I'll have to delete this later on. This is why I love this one. I mean, it's just insane. Oh, it's been 3 weeks. Okay, get a grip. I mean, honestly, people have no idea what's involved here. A thorough background investigation must be completed to prove who you are, where you're from, what you're saying is true. That has to take place. There's an administrative process that has to take place. Interviews have to be conducted. Medical screening has to be done. All this stuff takes time. That's the one. I love that one. She did a great job on that. But that music is copyright claimed, apparently, so I'm going to get a copyright on that. Well, congratulations, Auntie Floyd. Good luck in your interview. All right, so now, Dogzilla, you're conflating two different things to mislead people. See, that's what we call misinformation. Dogzilla is now saying tax cuts for billionaires are a very complicated subject. No, they're not. Either billionaires got a reduction in the amount of taxes they pay or they didn't. If they didn't, it's not a tax cut. And he says they use all kinds of ways to avoid paying tax, their fair share. Well, again, that's two lies packed into one in the sentence there, Dogzilla. Number one, you're talking about tax cuts and then you're talking about tax avoidance. That's not the same thing. Tax avoidance is not the government giving tax cuts. That's people avoiding paying tax. That's Europe who work off the books. And the third thing is their fair share. Who are you to decide who somebody's fair share is? Who are you, Dogzilla, to decide that? Where do you get off deciding that? Honestly, who pays the taxes in this country? Yeah, I love this debate. Thank you, Dogzilla, for bringing this up because it gives me a chance to dispel all the nonsense you like to come with. Okay, who pays most federal tax? Okay, who pays the most U.S. taxes? Okay. The top paying individuals in the country paid 40% of all federal income tax. How is that fair? Why do 1% of people have to pay 40% of the total taxes the country gets? 1%. So let's just say how many people it is. How many people comprise the top 1% of taxpayers? Okay, and I can't say the country because it's not the country. Okay, let's see what we get for that. Probably a few million at least. Yeah, 1.5 million. So 1.5 million Americans pay 40% of the tax for 330 million Americans. So, Dogzilla. And that's unfair? It is. It is unfair. That 1.5 million people have to pay 40%. That's not fair. That's not equal protection under the law. That's anything but equal protection under the law. 40% of all the taxes are paid by 1.5 million people in this country. And you think they should pay more? The average income tax rate for this group was approximately 26.1%. So he's talking about tax avoidance, and he doesn't give any examples. I'm giving you facts and average. And he's conflating tax avoidance with tax cuts. They're not the same thing. They're not even remotely the same thing. Buster B says America's stupidity pandemic. Yes, the same one we caught from South Africa. They get 100% of the population with sales tax. That's not true, Holden. First off, that's a very misleading statement. Not every state has sales tax on everything, and the federal government has no sales tax. So we're talking about the federal government. States have sales tax. Pennsylvania has no sales tax on clothing, no sales tax on food. So that's not accurate, entirely accurate. Complicated of those guys getting rich out of the society, but not paying it back. They're not paying it back, really. Wow, they're not paying it back, honestly. You can say that with a straight face. What are you paying? What's your tax rate? Is your tax rate 26%? I doubt it. Okay. How much income tax the U.S. government collect in 2024? $2.4 trillion. So, they're not paying their share. I love this. This is so silly. So silly to hear people say this. So $2.4 trillion, okay? Wow. Individual income taxes made up 49% of total tax revenue, okay? So $2.4 trillion in personal income tax, okay? All right. 2.4 trillion. 2.4 trillion. That's 2.4 billion. 2.4 trillion, all right, times 0.4 equals, that's not right. That's divided by, I did that wrong. Shoot. I hit the wrong button. God bless it. 2 trillion, 2.4 trillion. 40 million, 2.4 billion, 2.4 billion, 240 billion, 2.4 trillion times 0.4. That's what I want to do. All right. So 1%, 1.5 million people pay $960 billion in income tax. And that's not fair to Dogzilla. That's not favorable. Okay, Ivan Narkia, what WhatsApp group? I have multiple WhatsApp groups. What is your intent? What do you want a WhatsApp group for? Please tell me. So you get notified of videos? Do you want a WhatsApp group to hear about refugee news? You have to tell me what. I have a lot of WhatsApp groups. I don't like WhatsApp, but they've been accumulating over the years. So you have to be specific. My WhatsApp group, which one? What's the subject? What do you want? Do you want to interact? Do you just want to receive information? Do you want to know about refugee stuff? Do you want to get updated on the videos? That's what I need to know. Yes, so Dogzilla thinks that the 1.5 million Americans who pay $960 billion in income tax, 26% of their income, to the federal government every year is not enough. Is not enough. How does a clown like Mandami get elected in New York? Because nobody votes. There's 8.59 million people in New York City. That's 6 million eligible voters, at least, and only 2 million people voted. What kind of society do we want? A prosperous one. One where 80% of the money is held by a tiny percent of the population, with very low safety net for those who need it. I really don't care who holds the money. A rising tide lifts all boats. Why do you envy? Because you live a rich, privileged life. That's why, Dogzilla. You live a life of privilege, and you like to deign to speak for the poor. You're not poor. Did you grow up on free lunches and free milk? Did you use food stamps to buy food? Did you have one pair of pants that you could wear on Sunday and that's it? Anthony Michael, thank you. Hope your hip will be better. Get a replacement. Did it 65, should have done it. Okay, Anthony, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for 35 Rand. Seriously, 1.5 million people pay 40%, $960 billion in 2024. And that's not enough for Dogzilla. So notice how he keeps moving the goalpost. First, the goalpost was the billionaire tax cuts. Well, there aren't billionaire tax cuts. We've already just strike them down. Strike one. There are no billionaire tax cuts. There were tax cuts for everybody who paid taxes, and most of the tax percentage-wise went to the middle class. So that one's taken down. Next, he tried to conflate tax cuts with tax avoidance. Well, that's not the same topic. And tax avoidance is done by people at all income thresholds, not simply billionaires. So that one's done away with. Then he tries to pivot to something else. You're not poor, but at the same time, you do care about a reasonable safety net. Otherwise, it causes inhumane problems. Such as what? What humane problems? So it's my job, because an alcoholic father drinks all the money for his family and they live in poverty and they live in a trailer. That's my fault. So I should subsidize their health care because he's an alcoholic. But what you're going to say from there, you're going to pivot and say, well, his children shouldn't suffer. Well, yes, they should suffer because they have an idiot father. I grew up that way. I suffered. Nobody gave a shit about me. Nobody gave me money. Nobody took care of me. We had to find our own way. Now, what you're searching for is a fantasy, Dogzilla. It's a leftist wet dream. Utter nonsense. It does not exist. It ignores human character. It ignores Homo sapien behavior. It ignores the reality that people are driven by self-interest. Self-interest. The number of people who do things purely for philanthropic reasons or humanitarian reasons is exceedingly small. Exceedingly small. And insufficient to cover the world. And frankly, it shouldn't be, because people are lazy. When you give them food, most people make no effort to get out of that situation, unless they already have a history of being self-reliant and are in a short-term bad situation. There's no reason for hunger in this country, Dogzilla. First off, 42 million people on food stamps is asinine, especially when, under the law, a family of four making $50,000 a year is 400% of the poverty line. Well, 400%, what's just more than that? So 17 times 4, what's that? That's 70-some thousand. People making $70-some thousand a year for a family of four are eligible to receive food stamps. Now, that's ridiculous. I saw a person interviewed on Wall Street Journal said, yeah, no, I don't need the food stamps, but because I get them, I'm able to save money. Well, that's not my role, to feed you so you can save money. That means I don't have money to save. Kathy wants to change the subject. Do you have another subject you want to offer, Kathy? Jean Spence, no, you don't know the whole picture. So 28%, I said 26, that's an average. 28% is that bracket, 28, 30%. So 28% is for upper middle income or upper middle income. 28% to the federal government. If you're self-employed like I am, Then you pay an additional 18%. I pay my share of my Social Security, and I pay my employer's share of my Social Security. Guess who my employer is? Me. So I have to pay the full 12.5% for Social Security. So 12.5% of my income on top of the 28% goes on top of that. That's 38, 42.5% already. Then I have to pay, on top of that, Medicare and Medicaid, which is another 6%. That's 48%. And then on top of that, I have to pay the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania 3% of my income for taxes. Now that gets adjusted down a little bit, but before it gets adjusted, I'm paying 51% of my income in taxes to government. Before I ever consume anything, before I buy 1 liter of petrol, before I buy 1 burger at a fast food place, before I buy 1 book, before I buy parts to fix my car, before I buy food for my home, I have already surrendered over half my income. And I'm not a wealthy person. Not even remotely. I'm sure I make a lot less money than Dogzilla. Nobody's asking you or me to pay more tax extended safety net for those who need it. Well, yes, they are, Dogzilla. Yes, they are. The Democrats are demanding that we subsidize health care. People paying $360 a month for their premiums are going to have it go to $1,500. Well, that $1,200 they're not paying is being paid for by you and me. Yes, people are demanding we pay for it. You and I pay for food stamps. We subsidize people's behavior. Absolutely. Now, food stamps are meant to be a short-term measure to help those who've fallen on hard times. Medical emergency, a crisis in the family, a death in the family, a divorce, a flood, your house fire, you're in a short term. Yeah, but people live off food stamps forever. I found it degrading and demoralizing, and it undermined my human dignity using food stamps. It kept me fed as a kid, but I found it demoralizing and demeaning, and I never, ever wanted to see a food stamp again in my life after I stopped using them. My mother would send me to the corner to the butcher shop. We had butcher shops back then. Kind of like Europe still does, but not for much longer after Aldi and Lidl take over everything. But I would go to the corner butcher shop across the street from the county prison, Lackawanna County Prison, and I would buy lunch meat and Gould's mustard, which I loved back then. And I had to pay him food stamps. It was embarrassing. It's demeaning. It's degrading. Now they make it too easy. You just get a credit card. Yeah, get a little credit card. Here you go. Here's your credit card. Yeah, you get a credit card. You just give them a credit card. No shame attached to it whatsoever. And now it's an entitlement. And 42 million people, probably 36 million of whom shouldn't even have food stamps, are getting food stamps. Not everyone can make over $50,000 per year if they try. Well, no one claimed they could, Dogzilla. Someone bussing tables in a dining room shouldn't be making $50,000. That's an outrageously high salary for someone that brings a low skill employment. They're not building widgets. They're not designing apps. They're not creating critical medical care. They're not doing things that have higher value to them. That doesn't demean what they're doing. It just means that their contribution is less worthy in the scheme of things. I mean, the person that's going to rip my leg open, take a saw and cut my femur, rip it out of my body, and then jam plastic into the socket and then jam a piece of titanium in there, better be very talented, experienced, and the best in his field. But the person who left the drinks on my table doesn't require the same skill set and should not be making the same amount of money. It's just ludicrous. No one says everyone should make $50,000. That's just silly. If Trump's tariffs get ruled illegal, then this country is gone. It's a joke. It's a law. Congress passed a law the president signed. If they want to declare the law illegal, unconstitutional, then they need to do it. But declaring Trump's actions illegal is bullshit. They have to set aside the law. Trump is following the law as it was written. SNAP just made more lazy, ungrateful people. A lady was complaining that she has 6 kids, does not work for the last 13 years, and gets only $4,000 a month and refuses to work 15 hours a week. Yeah, she gets $4,300 a month out of my pocket. That's money I could be saving for my future. That's money I could be using to take a cruise. That's money I could be using to go to ball games. Or paying for my hip replacement. Right, and you're right, Holden, and Biden said it was a 2-year stopgap measure and people were supposed to prepare for it, but they got lazy and counted on it. I want nobody in America going hungry. Then go work in a soup kitchen, work in a food pantry. We have New Hope Ministries here in central Pennsylvania. They feed 30,000 people, 40,000 people in this county through the volunteers who donate their time, to those who donate food, corporations that offer food. They have like a little grocery store where the people go in and who don't have money and get food for free. No one should go hungry in this country. There's no need for anyone in this country to go hungry. There are safety nets already. I don't know what you're going on about, Dogzilla. There are safety nets ever in this country. Show me the people who are hungry. There's no reason for anybody to be hungry in this country. There are safety nets. But safety nets shouldn't come out of my pocket by coercing and stealing my money and giving to people. Safety nets should be voluntary. That's how this country once worked. That's why we were industrious. That's why we were productive. That's why we became the best country in the world, because people took care of themselves. They took care of their communities. You know, Hillary Clinton's bullshit, it takes a village. Well, a village can certainly make a difference. Okay, sure. Sorry. So I'll be on John B. Wells' show tomorrow night, apparently. A person busting tables and mental problems is not their fault. You could argue that it's all they're capable, which is unfair from different angles. It's not fair. It's not unfair at all. It's life. If a wildebeest is born with 3 legs, they're probably going to be eaten and not survive unless they adapt and overcome. Is that fair? No, that's life. That's life. So if a person has a mental disability, a physical disability, which means they can't work and achieve something higher, so we should give them, what, $100,000? Is that fair? No, that's not fair. To each his own, to each his abilities. Yep. You feel about food stamps like I'm feeling about giving an empty bottle. Also had to give it to shop for bread and hate up to the day I don't do it. Sandra, I understand where you're coming from, but there's nothing wrong. You mean like you take bottles that have deposits in? There's nothing wrong with that. In college, I collected aluminum cans, not because I was poor, but because I hated seeing aluminum cans go to waste. I made like $1,200, I think it was, in college in 1980s, recycling aluminum that were just thrown on the lawns of frat houses and out in the street when I walked to and from class during the day. I inquired why maybe they forgot about me, Holden. Thank you. Maybe they forgot about me. I talked to Billy Painter when I was in Idaho. I said, did I piss off John B. Wells? Because I haven't heard from these guys. Okay. Thank you, Holden. Maybe that's why I'm coming on. Maybe that's why I'm coming on, because you asked. Yeah, no, I haven't been on John B. Wells. I thought maybe the last time we spoke, because John and I disagreed on a point, and I thought maybe I pissed him off and I wasn't coming back on. I didn't know. Yeah, it's been a while. But of course, I've had a very busy schedule too. But I mean, I when I was in England, they called me. I'm like, hey, I just went on. I went out of my way to help them. So anyway, here comes a nasty shot about with the low unemployment rate in the U.S. being homeless and unemployed is a personal choice. Now, why must I pay for someone else special? Well, I think you make a very good point there, Xavier. There are exceptions. There are people who simply will never be able to work because of their circumstances and their misfortune, but that's a small number of people. Okay, so Dogzilla, you've just exposed who you really are, what you're all about. You're saying take the safety net money from the people who are rich. You want to steal. You want to confiscate from people who are successful. Why? What's the incentive to be successful? What's the incentive to create Starlink? What's the incentive to create Tesla? What's the incentive to create SpaceX? Things that make the country immeasurably better in advanced technology, advanced life, or Neuralinks for people who have mental incapacity or dementia, something like that. Or who are disabled? What's the point of making those things? Why would someone do that? Why would someone put all their energy into investing into a business that's likely to fail on the hope that it can succeed if they're punished for the success? You don't understand how human beings work. You don't understand how human beings work. And this is what puzzles me about leftists. I think they do understand how human beings work. They just don't care. They think that they can ram through their silly ideas. People are motivated by self-interest. Self-interest. Absolutely. Giving should be voluntary. Exactly. It's not giving if you steal from people, if you confiscate. And if you do it on a progressive level, it's unjust. It is unjust. It is morally bankrupt, ladies and gentlemen. Morally bankrupt to take from the successful and give to the less successful. Safety nets are responsibility of communities. New Hope Ministries, located here in central Pennsylvania. That is a private, not-for-profit organization organized by people of faith. And they feed 30 or 40,000 people in this county. There is no reason for people to be hungry. None whatsoever. People make choices in life, Dogzilla. People decide to stick their wick in another person and wind up getting someone pregnant at 15. And then they deal with the consequences of a teen pregnancy and premature family creation that leads to lower income, lower standards, less education, and less wealth. That is their choice. I didn't get that 2 minutes of joy that person got when they ejaculated. That's on them, not on me. That was their choice. No one, unless they were assaulted, held them down and made them stick their wick in. They made that choice. They made that choice, not me. I should not be responsible for their bad decisions. It's just wrong. It's morally bankrupt. Strategic partnership between South Africa and Venezuela, well, they'll come to nothing. What are they going to share? Defense? Are they going to share financial ideas? Are they going to loan each other money? No, that's just a joke. It's a joke. The more tax are imposed on people, the less money the people will generate. Exactly right. That's exactly what happens. Blame game? Never going to get the same opportunities? Well, see, now you're onto something, Dogzilla. But you don't even understand you're onto it. So let's talk about it. You're onto that. Not only get the same opportunities. Are opportunities a right? No, they're not. They're not a right. Did God descend from the heavens down to Moses on Mount Sinai and say, take these 15 commandments, 10. No, sorry, that's a line from the Mel Brooks. Take these 10 commandments. And oh, by the way, here's your list of rights and entitlements. It includes opportunities. You're entitled to every opportunity. That's right, because you're a human. So God-given, is it a natural right from God? No, it's not. It's not a God-given right. It's not even a right, an opportunity. People make their own opportunities. Sloth prevents opportunity. Laziness prevents opportunity. Self-pleasure prevents opportunity. That's the problem. So far as opportunities, how do you fix that? Well, there's a way to fix that. And we had a system for that. And it's been corrupted. We had a student loan program for students in need. People with low incomes families couldn't make enough money to get them into university. We had a program based entirely on need. Barack Obama, the scumbag, horseshit, bullshit, worthless, racist piece of shit that he is, destroyed the student loan program. Opened it up to anybody. And let people buy vast amounts of money. It was constrained before. It was kept at a limit. When I made a student loan, the full amount of a student loan in 1982 for a university student, regardless of the family's income, the lowest level was $2,500. $2,500. And I made a $2,500 loan because we had no money. My family had no money. So I got a loan. I also got a grant from the federal government. It was a basic income education grant, which was renamed the Pell Grant after the scumbag Democrat from South Carolina, Claiborne Pell, in 1982. So I got $1,800, $1,800 in a Pell Grant. Which I didn't have to pay back. It's a grant for poor people. I got $2,500 from a student loan, and I got a state grant because Ohio had a similar program, and they gave me $900 because I was broke. So $2,500, $1,800, that's $4,300, and $900 is $5,300 of aid to go to school that year. And that wasn't enough. I worked in a cafeteria and earned my way through school. So that's how you level a playing field. But opening loans up and giving grants to people who don't need it to buy votes is bullshit. No one is born with a low IQ. What are you talking about, Dogzilla? No one has a low IQ. IQ is a consequence of your experiences. The only people that would have low IQs are people who have mental issues in brain development. Okay, that's one. And number two, people who don't get sufficient protein before the age of 5 who have stunting. Well, that's great, Dogzilla. So if you worked your way through college, I don't understand why you don't have an appreciation for how people should earn their way in life. I don't understand that. How do you come to the conclusion? By the way, Dogzilla, I like your points tonight, mostly because I can destroy them. but this is an adult conversation. Dogzilla, why don't you do this more often, man? Instead of being a rude troll. This is actually productive. I mean, you keep it up and have these good points, man. I'm going to have to play your song just to make you happy. Not anyone can compete in a rapacious competitive society. Well, dude, I'm sorry, Dogzilla. What planet do you live on? Are you on Alpha Centauri? This is Earth, Gaia. This is third rock from the sun. Life is a competition. Life is a competition. Do you think that the leopard sitting in the tree goes, you know what? that zebra has got a limp. I'm just going to skip that one because it's not fair to take him out. I mean, he's got a limp. I should go for the healthy one at the front. All right, here we go. The leopard runs out of gas. And the leopard starves because he can't kill a zebra because he had humanity for the zebra that was limping on 3 legs. Oh, but let's just go more simple. Let's go more simple. There's no need for viruses. They're not living. They don't add to the sequence of life. All they do is harm. HIV kills people. Ebola kills people horrifically. Lassa fever, hantavirus, Wuhan, all of these things. So how is that fair? How is it fair that some of us from the Midlands in the UK and England have a unique genetic mutation that protects us from getting HIV and Ebola and other things? Is that fair? I got that. Is it fair, Dogzilla, that I was born and I turned out to be so damn devastatingly handsome? I mean, is that fair? I mean, is it fair that at the age of 59 again, I have this full, thick, lush hair and other people have male pattern baldness? No, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's life. And life is not fair. And the sooner people realize it, the sooner they become adults instead of spoiled children. Life is not fair. Life should be just. Human interaction should be just. But fair is not a right. It's not even a privilege. It's a fantasy. A fair fight? No. The winner is the winner. Justice is different. Human society should be just. But fair? No. No. The cheetah chasing down the springbok is not going to go for the healthy one that's fast. They'll starve. Cheetahs can only run at that speed for a short distance and they run out of gas. If they don't get their prey in that distance, then they go hungry. If they go hungry, they starve to death. If they're nursing their cubs starve to death. How is that fair? It's not fair. Fairness doesn't come into play. Participation truths have ruined the West. They have. Envy and greed dressed as empathy. By the way, so some of the decorations I have, I don't consider them to be participation trophies, but I mean, I don't, many people think it's an impressive achievement, but I mean, I don't necessarily feel that way because I've done things that are, in my view, much more impactful and impressive. That's why my wall isn't full of if I put up every certificate that I received, I put up every award. I mean, my Army Commendation medals alone, there's 9 of them. Where the map is back there, it would fill that entire section, just that one decoration. I have 23 ribbons, personal awards. Plus I have 3 6-unit citations. And I have qualifications like Air Assault School. I mean, and then I have awards from the government of Liberia, awards from the government of Hesse, awards from the Daughters of the American Revolution, awards, it's life is not fair, folks. Look at them. Well, first off, dogs, the minimum wage is a communist asinine idea. There should be no minimum wage. No minimum wage. Yeah, that's right. That's right. If I want a job and I go in to apply for a job and they're only offering $5 an hour, I'd say thank you very much for the opportunity, but I can't survive off that. I'm going to have to look for other employment. And then the next person comes and says the same thing. And guess what? Suddenly they have to pay $9 an hour. Oh, okay, I'll take the job for $9 an hour. I can live off that. Minimum wage is bullshit. It's a socialist concept. It is intrusion in the free marketplace. It is what leads to distorted outcomes. That is the problem. When government intrudes into the economy in such a pervasive fashion, they undermine the free market. Capitalism is the perfect, brilliant system. Supply and demand. Everybody wants prime water. Everybody wants it. The demand is here. The supply is down here. What happens? The price goes up because there's not enough to meet the demand. So people pay more. If everybody goes sour on prime because it's just water, why would you pay freaking 80 Rand for one little bottle of crappy water? Well, then the interest wanes. The supply stays high. The demand goes away. The price comes down. Suddenly you can get prime for 20 Rand a bottle sitting on the shelf at Game. It's simple. It's simple. Things in demand. Why do you think it costs $20,000 to $40,000 for hip replacement? Because that's what the titanium costs? No. The parts are expensive, But the surgery is expensive because it takes skilled people who devote their lives to learning these skills to improve people through medical advancements. And those medical advancements took place through trial and error, experimentation, at great cost and sacrifice by people who are very talented. Life is a competition. Now, when people play unfair, well, that's a different story. YouTube plays unfair. All the people come in my chat tonight saying they don't get notifications. Why is that? They're subscribed. They're supposed to get notified every time. That's unfair. What can I do about that? Moan and cry? That's about all I can do. If I was rich, I could sue YouTube. But I'm not rich. Minimum wage isn't meant for people to survive. So you completely understand minimum wage. The whole purpose of the introduction of minimum wage is not what leftists are trying to make it today. It is not, two things to this. It is not meant to be a living wage. No, you're not supposed to be a 35-year-old woman with 3 children in your house, single parent, and working in a diner at minimum wage or working at McDonald's for minimum wage, and that's supposed to be, no. It's for entry-level people coming into the marketplace. A 17-year-old entering the workplace or a 16-year-old entering the workplace making $8 an hour is a fortune because they're not spending any money. They're living at home. They're making that money. It's not meant to be permanent employment. Minimum wage is entry-level. And this stupidity that's supposed to be a living wage is retarded. It's absolutely retarded. You go to McDonald's at 16, you start working there, you make $20 an hour here locally at frickin' McDonald's. You work there for 6 months, you apply for an assistant supervisor position, you get it, suddenly you're making $12 an hour. Then you like McDonald's, you apply for a management program, they send you to the Hamburger University in Oak Point, in Illinois. I've been there. I've been on campus at McDonald's University. You go there. They train you to be a supervisor. They send you home. Now you're a supervisor making $16 to $20 an hour, and you're getting stock options. But if you sit around and piss and moan about minimum wage for entry level, that's ridiculous. It's not for a living wage, and it never was intended to be one. But leftists are trying to make it out to be that way. And here's another thing. Every time you idiots raise the minimum wage, you undermine the economy. If everybody makes $1 billion, then $1 billion doesn't mean anything. If everybody's got $1 billion, then we all want cans of Coke. We all go buy the Coke. Then there's no Coke. There's no distinction. Raising the minimum wage eviscerates the economy. It costs jobs. Businesses, small business owners can't afford to pay that rate to people. That's why they pay a lower rate. And they get lower quality workforce as a consequence of it. Boy, I'll tell you what, I love schooling people on capitalism. I just love schooling people on capitalism because it's so easy. Envy and greed, distress as empathy mixed with a selfish savior complex. Boo, Karen Van Dyke, that's brilliant. I got to get that copy of that. What time did you do that? Karen Van Dyke. Give me a timestamp on this thing. I want that. That's a great comment. That was 11:16. Oh, here, I'm almost there. There it is. Envy, I got to save that. Yeah, everyone acts in their own self-interest. Taxing more never works. Government just wastes, becomes more. Exactly. Karen, you are a graduate of the Wyatt School of Economics. Obviously, you didn't need it. Man, oh man, oh man. That's exactly right. You have hit that nail on the head. That is brilliant. Envy and greed, dressed as sympathy or empathy, mixed with selfish savior complex. Everyone acts in their own self-interest always. Taxing more never works. Yep. Friend of 44, IQ of a grade 5. She works daily, takes care of herself and her parents-in-law. If someone wants a better life, it is out there for everyone else. Yep. Well, again, Dogzilla, look at the minimum wage in some states. How on earth can people survive? Because they're not meant to survive minimum wage. That's not the intent. Minimum wage is for entry-level work. It's for unskilled labor. Come on, where we go here? We're reading. Okay, okay. No, I can't elaborate on the scope of that. So, okay. So Dogzilla is okay with rich people not having a safety net. How is that equality and treat people the same? Exactly. Buck and Terry say, all people get the same opportunity. I blame parents of stupid voters for voting for communists. I don't think all people get the same opportunity. I didn't get the opportunity to go to an Ivy League school, but what right do I have to that? I mean, as a kid, I would love to have gone to Princeton, but I couldn't afford that. I didn't get that opportunity, but I don't begrudge anybody. If I want that, then I become successful and I go as an adult on my own later in life. I continue my education. I just went to Michigan State University. I just graduated in December 2023 with a certificate in beekeeping as an apiist. I continue my education. Education is a lifelong experience as far as I'm concerned. You're always getting an education. And now I can't afford to go to Princeton, but I could probably swing it, by borrowing money and putting things aside. And I can go to Princeton now if I want to. If I want next generation to be successful, then I become successful in life and I put my kids through Princeton. But I would never send my kids to Princeton now. It's a woke school. Free will. Life is the choices you make. Sadly, other people, children being born in a situation, not the child's fault. But it wasn't my fault that I was born into parents that are irresponsible, that I was forced to live in foster care, that I had to go through horrific experiences that most minors will never experience in a lifetime. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault at all. But fair, unfair, but tough. You don't get opportunities. You are supposed to look and make opportunities. Yeah. Yep. Life's not fair. It's just the way some other people are born rich and others born poor. It's not their fault. It's just the way it has always been. Exactly. Should we all send our arses and wait for other people to give us opportunities, says Buster B? Okay. All right. Now I'm back to where I was before. Life is crap, says Sumery. I have to choose to live this life or die. I worked hard for everything, but the person next to me feels entitled. If each person does the right thing, life would be better. Exactly. Anton says, congratulations on getting 98% of the vote. Yes, I feel like an African dictator. I've led a coup, and now I get 98% of the vote. Look at these guys funding politicians who cut their taxes. Okay, Dogzilla. Look at the Southern Poverty Law Center. Look at the NAACP. Look at the American Criminal Liberties Union. Look at these groups that spend money, give to candidates to get their desires approved, to push people. Look at the American Association of Retired Persons. Look at the American Automobile Association. Look at the American Bar Association. These are all organizations that lobby for things on behalf of their constituents. How is that different than persons with money doing it on their own directly? It isn't. It isn't. So it's funny how you have tunnel vision. You're upset about rich people, but you're not upset about rich, connected, outside organizations that influence government and change where we're going. How are they any better or different? They're not. It's the same thing. I'm going to tell my kids about fair and just this great lesson. Live the cheetah story great. Exactly, Borbo. Exactly. So here we are. Okay. We're sitting on a log in the Okavango, cleaning our paws because we just ate, gazelle. So I'm a cheetah. Suddenly I get a whiff. That smells like Diker. No, it's not Diker. It's Springbok. I haven't had me any Springbok this week. I'm kind of full, but I could still eat some more. All right, here they come. Shh. You guys be quiet over there. There's Springbok coming. Ooh, look at that. Boy, that one in the front. Ooh, that looks tasty. But he looks pretty healthy. I don't think I can catch that one. Oh, look. There's a little Springbok. It's a baby Springbok. Baby Springbok. Tender meat. But I can't eat a baby. That's not fair. Oh, look, there's an old one. Kind of tired after chasing down that gazelle. All right, here we go. Oh, wait. I can't eat the baby, even though it's tender and tasty. I should eat the old one. But that's not fair. He's limping. All right, I'm going to go for the fast one up front. Here we go. Damn it, I missed. Now there's none here. Oh well, I guess my cubs will starve. Seriously. Alan said he had to start over 3 times in life with nothing. I cried, not fair. It would have been living in a cardboard box. Pick myself every time. Doing great. Congratulations, Alan. And that's tough. That's not easy to do. Daniel Whitfield, welcome to you. Should people pay extra for clean water? How about clean air? Well, people do pay extra for clean water. What are you talking about, Dogzilla? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I get screwed by my public utility, which is a cooperative. I pay $60 a month for wastewater disposal so it gets clean, whether I use water or not. Then I pay an average of over $60 a month for the water that actually gets clean. I'm paying for water whether I use it or not. Then I'm paying to maintain the infrastructure so water can be clean. Then I'm paying for the actual cleaning of the water. People do pay for clean water. What planet are you living on? What planet are you living on? The only time I ever paid for clean water is when I lived on a farm and I had a cistern. We got our water from a cistern. It was clean. Didn't have to clean it. On a farm. I pay for water, for clean water. Clean air? I pay for clean air. Hell yeah. We have to pay taxes for clean air, for our carbon emissions. We have to buy shitty little cars that are 4-cylinders and crappy 6-cylinders instead of V8s and V12s because of the government intrusion in the marketplace. We're paying for clean air. What planet are you living on? Honestly. Yeah, I got that video. I'm just going to play it. I was going to make a video out of that with Trump. Yep. Life is fair. You're just a loser. You'll be a loser, okay? I worked for free first 3 months when wanting to work in the film industry. Sometimes you have to sacrifice. Yep. Minimum wage is crap. More people will have an income if there was no minimum wage. Exactly. Now there's not enough jobs because someone can only afford to hire 2 people instead of 4. Well, that's in South Africa. Yep, South Africa hasn't truly had a free market, capitalist market, way too much government intervention, nor has the U.S. Life exactly what it is, life. That is how nature intended to be. Certain human beings think themselves so great that they have this self-appointed duty to change the natural order of things. Roll Cope got a notification. Well, that's good news. U.S. minimum wage is $7.25 per hour. Yeah, okay, true. Gigantic wealth U.S. is heavily concentrated. No, we've done this before, dogs. I'm not going to waste your time. The United States is only 44th in the world in wealth disparity. For an advanced economy, that's pretty damn impressive. Pretty damn impressive. And it doesn't matter what the Gini coefficient is. It doesn't matter if 1/10 of 1% own 80% of the production, as long as everyone else can make enough to survive and thrive, which everybody can in this country. Yes, Coca-Cola does clean off battery terminals, and it keeps my colon clean. I think it's fair to ask if nature's intent is just a perfect concept or it could be dysfunctional. Well, that's true. Oh boy, where are we at now? USA is concentration on achievers. Europe has tall poppy syndrome, and the third world is barely educated. Yep. My dad always said, even if you were a street sweeper, you'd be the best street sweeper. It'll pay off when you work hard. Yep. Yeah, Daniel Whitfield, South Africa is a very good example of minimum wage doesn't work. Yep. My daughter had to work 13 hours a day in a restaurant for minimum wage. Was soul destroying to watch. Yeah, it is. Minimum wage where I am is $20 per hour. Few people accept jobs paying that little. So why do you have a minimum wage then? Dogzilla, you've just defeated your own argument. Well, why do you have a minimum wage if people won't work for it? What's the point of it? It's virtue signaling, and it interferes in the marketplace. Even at $30 an hour, paying rent is rough. No. You live more frugally. My first apartment in Germany was 500 marks a month. And it was a basement of a lady's house. An old lady, Frau Ernst. 500 marks a month. At 3 to 1, it's $100 some a month is what I paid for my rent. You live within your means. People aren't entitled to 8-bedroom mansions with golden toilets like Trump has. You want that? Become a billionaire. 20 pounds, you live with the corn syrups. Well, I'm not having much corn syrup, Holden. Thank you for the advice, but this, how often am I drinking this? I've had like 3 Cokes in a month, and you've seen them all on air. I will lose weight when I get my hip fixed and I'm working and exercising again. And I'm not having a Starbucks. That's going to have an impact. For a subject matter expert in South Africa, the annual something enforced minimum wage increases means many companies cannot assist long-term employees with annual increase due to the burdens of forced increase. Yep. Verna Kurtz, hello to you. Not happy camper. To finish the above, forced increase for... Okay. We need to get money back out of our election system. It's devolved into bribery. Okay, now you're talking an entirely different subject altogether. Dogzilla. Yes, and that's why McCain-Feingold was an abomination. McCain-Feingold entrenched rich, privileged access to the place, and it denied Americans their right to contribute to candidates, limited to what, $2,500 per campaign. That's nonsense. That's utter nonsense. These PACs run by the ACLU and the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Koch brothers can give billions of dollars, and there's no limit on them. Dark money. Look at all the dark money Kamala Harris raised and how it was wasted. No, I agree with you. There shouldn't be money in politics like that, but there is, and it's there because of McCain and Feingold, who lied to the American public, and people were stupid enough to believe that their campaign finance reform was reform. No, it was entrenching the rich to privileged elites in the pharmaceutical industry, in the banking industry. Yeah, that's what it did. One will only understand the whole minimum wage subject when the business they have owned their own business. Till then, they see that. Yeah, exactly, Don Marie. Well, I don't know my business, and I understand it. We now experience a people problem. People are entitled to make poor decisions. Yep. National Geographic episode. Oh, you with the cheetahs. I need a David Attenborough voice for the cheetah. I can't do his voice. Ronaldo probably can. So you are getting a Springbok shirt from a South African relative who only makes 800 Rand a month. Good Lord. What does he do? 800 Rand a month. That's $50. All right. Okay. And these Chinese cars are about ass fuel efficiency as a Humvee. Yep. No, I don't think climate change is a scam. Why are you putting words in my mouth? Climate change happens every day. It was raining here a short while ago. The climate changed. Long term, 1,000 years ago, we had a mini ice age. The Thames River froze up in the summertime. Froze solid, the Thames River, in the summer. Crops failed for years because of the cold weather in Europe. People starved because of that. Yeah, climate change is real. Krakatoa blanketed the entire atmosphere of the Earth for 3 years, lowering the temperatures and killing off all kinds of flora and fauna. Climate change is real, induced by nature, induced by the rotation of the Earth, induced by solar storms, induced by comets passing by the Earth, changing patterns, induced by tides from the gravitational pull of the moon in orbit with the world. Climate change is real. Climate zealots are a scam. Green energy is a scam. There's no such thing as green energy. It doesn't exist. That's the scam. That's the climate scam. But climate change is real. Why are you trying to say something I never claimed, Dogzilla? Pay attention to what I say. Words matter. Words matter. Climate zealots are frauds. The green energy revolution is a fraud. There's no such thing as green energy. Every production of energy is polluting. Every form of energy extraction is polluting. Every source of energy is polluting. There is no such thing as green. It's all total bullshit. There's less polluting, natural gas. Why aren't we focused on natural gas? It's the least polluting of all these energies. Natural gas produces far less emissions than making solar panels. Struggling with life is fair subject the last few years and trying to understand it and not getting angry. I have accepted life. Free will is life. Yep. I may have the math wrong. He told me it's about 16,000 per year. 16,000 per year is actually pretty good in South Africa. Everyone complains about life being unfair. That means life is equally unfair. Exactly. Live within your means. Exactly, Xavier. 2-bedroom apartments around here start at 25. Well, then you know what they should do, Dogzilla? I'm going to give you a little advice. Came from Sam Kinison. People living in Ethiopia in a desert where there's no food, there's no water. Sam Kinison gave the best advice. Move! Move away from the desert! Don't live where rent's $2,500. Move! I'd like to live in Lake Tahoe. Do you know what it costs to own a house there? Vilma worked 2 jobs to provide for them. What about lowering the rent? Yeah, exactly. But you can't lower the rent. Do you know why, Dreamliner? Because the community he lives in probably has all these laws and taxes on the property owner and liability insurance and maintaining the property. All that comes into play. When due to BE laws and jobs for whites limited, employers that do employ them will pay them under market salary because they know they're desperate. 100% correct. Exploiting people because of the law. That's what happens with illegal aliens here. They're exploited by employers because they know they have no recourse. How do I see the Supreme Court going to the tariffs? I think they're going to rule against the president and they're going to violate the Constitution based on their comments. We'll see. The only way that they can overrule the president is to declare the 1977 law to be unconstitutional, where it's raised the question, how did the law stay in place 87, 97, 2007, 2017, 2027, almost 50 years the law is in place, and it's been used before. So why is it now illegal? Why is it not in line with the Constitution? What the argument they're making is that only Congress can impose taxes. That's not true. That's not true. The president has the authority to impose duties, tariffs. He does. And he has in the Constitution. He also has it in law. So, I think the court's going to rule against him in that way. But it's not legitimate for them to do that. Anyway. Could you get Zella up and running on the number I have? I don't use Zella. My bank has it, so I'd have to look into it, Arctic. I have to look into it. Let me make note of that, Zella. Okay. We're going to have to check into it. Look at temps since the start of the Industrial Revolution. Polluting atmosphere is having. Oh my goodness. Dogzilla, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere 40 million years ago or so in a different epoch was higher. During the Triassic period, there were frickin' ferns and trees growing everywhere on this planet. It was a greenhouse effect. It's happened. It comes and goes. Study geology. Study climatology. Study anthropology. Study these things that affect the world. Yes, the Industrial Revolution temperatures have risen, but the population is sextupled in size. That's one of the reasons. Polluting the atmosphere is atmosphere. The atmosphere is not polluted. What are you talking about? Polluting the atmosphere? Where? In India? Yeah, sure. In South Africa, absolutely, because they burn so much coal. Here? No. The air hasn't been this clean since the 17th century in this country. We haven't had air this clean in centuries. We haven't had water this clean, except for Dearborn, Michigan, in centuries. What are you talking about, man? Dude, the Cuyahoga River caught on fire in the 1970s. There was trash everywhere in the 1970s. Water was polluted. Acid rain destroyed the maple trees in Ontario and in Quebec in the 1970s and 80s. That isn't happening. What are you talking about? Keep up with current events. Stop reading your leftist talking points and actually do the research. Many would say that we are actually in a mini ice age at the moment if you look at the history of the world. Yes, Daniel, that's true. Historically speaking, this epoch is colder on average than many other ones. So it's just, there is climate change. The climate is always changing. Karen Van Dyke says 16,000 a year works out to 20,000 per month on a family. Ain't poor. That's minimum wage. It's not minimum wage. No, that's good money. I know. See, the problem with Dogzilla, he doesn't have perspective. Because he lives a life where he says rent costs this much and he makes this much money in his retirement. He's applying his situation to South Africa. I could live like a king in South Africa. I would have a massive 8-bedroom house in Gordons Bay. I would have a view of the mountain. I could be on the ocean there, beachfront property. I could live like a king in South Africa on my retirement. I can't live like a king in central Pennsylvania. The cost of living is much higher here. But it's a lot safer. And Blowcup says, I like the more philosophical session. Well, we have to give Dogzilla credit. He has been prompting a lot of conversation here tonight. So Dogzilla gets a prize tonight. What's going on with Husky? Everybody's saying sorry. What happened? I missed that. My brother was house robbed and held at gunpoint for over 2 hours. Oh my gosh. I'm glad he's alive, Husky. Where did that happen? Can you tell us that? Again, there you are. 100% climate change is a natural phenomenon as we race. See, the arrogance, the hubris of Homo sapiens to arrogantly claim that we, as a species, are changing the world. And they freak out. The average temperatures are rising 2.3% over the course of 3 centuries. Oh my gosh. And so all life will be wiped out. The polar caps will melt. Really? It's only 2 degrees Fahrenheit that makes the difference between Mount Kilimanjaro being covered in snow and not being covered in snow? Really? That's all it takes? Well, the world was a hell of a lot hotter millions of years ago. Yeah, you can send me a check too, Arctic, but also don't send it to Chris because I won't be able to cash that, remember? Okay. Are you getting ready to send me a check because you think I'm going to win? I mean, it's only day 2, man. It's only day 2. Look at this. I'm already suffering. No Starbucks, man. I'm already going through DTs. Look at that. Look at it. I'm already suffering from no Starbucks, man. I just gave you one hell of a fight. Okay. A fright. Okay. Why don't you not pay more than 1/3 of the income for rent? Or for a home. That's the 35% is the cutoff. Banks don't want to loan you money if 35% of your income, more than that, is spent for housing. Yep. COVID had enormous effect on salaries. When employed after COVID, you couldn't expect the same salary. That last post, 100%. Now submit tenders at 40% of my prescribed rate, and I'm not even shortlisted because I have level 4. 40 million years ago, Jesus, do we live on the time scale? Oh, God. It doesn't matter the time scale. It matters the history of the planet. The planet goes through cycles. It's going through cycles. Yeah, exactly. Daniel says, you know what the percentage of carbon dioxide? And yeah, it rose by 0.04% and 0.01%. Yeah. Yeah, composition of the atmosphere. Pie chart. There we go. This is a useful chart. Come on. All right, so here you go. The atmosphere is 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 0.9% argon. Should we be terrified of argon? And what's left is carbon dioxide and water vapor. 78, 88, 98, 99%, 1/10 of 1%. Look at that. A fraction of 1% of the atmosphere is carbon dioxide. Argon is almost 1%. Should we be terrified of argon? I mean, honestly, should we be terrified of argon? Here you go. This is what he was just saying. There you go. There you go. This is even better. Gases in the atmosphere. Nitrogen, 78%. Should we freak out over nitrogen? We put it in our tires. Oxygen, just 21%. Carbon dioxide, 0.4, which is exactly what Daniel just said. And other gases, mostly argon, 0.96. Even if we quintuple the amount of carbon dioxide in the world, which would be impossible for us to do in short order, it would still only be 4 times that. It would be 0.16%. 4 times as much. And not even 1/10 of 1%. Wow. China, Europe, and lots of countries realize, well, Europe is not a country. It's a continent. And not everyone in Europe agrees. Well, people shouldn't pollute the atmosphere, Godzilla. Where do you get that from? I'm a conservationist. I don't believe in polluting. That's why I pick up aluminum cans and you lazy leftists throw out your car windows on the highway. That's why my house is at 60 degrees and I'm wearing a hoodie in the wintertime. I don't have the heat on because I don't need it. My feet are cold, but I'm fine. My hands are warm. I'm fine. There's no need. I don't need to be fat and lazy sitting around in warm comfy. Put a blanket on. Put a sweater on. Keep the temperature down. You know, that's what responsible people do. Yeah, China's building 350 coal-fired power stations every single year, and they've been doing that for 25 years. They have thousands of coal-fired plants. They burn more coal than the rest of the planet combined at this stage. I have to back that up with facts, but I mean, anecdotally, I have to look. But I'm pretty sure that's the case now because the U.S. only generates 16% of its electricity. We used to generate 78% of our electricity from coal-fired power plants. Now it's 16%. Stone Age, yeah, looks like 20,000, not even close to minimum wage. No, it's a good salary. Can't live like a king here. Starbucks is double. Yeah, but I wouldn't drink it, Arctic. I barely drink it when I'm in South Africa. But no, not Starbucks in Starbucks. No, Starbucks in the Starbucks is cheap, but the little bottles are expensive because they're imported. Regarding the 0.04 in the atmosphere, humanity is only responsible for around 1% of the rest being natural. Exactly. Water vapor is a far bigger greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. That's correct. Methane is a far bigger one. Far bigger. Naturally seeping out methane from bogs, from taiga that's defrosting and then refreezes. Naturally occurring methane from decomposition, and that is a far greater greenhouse gas. Yep. The deal was no sugar drink. No. That wasn't the deal. It was Starbucks, man. No. Don't change the terms now. It was Starbucks. No. You can't change the deal now, man. No. It was no Starbucks. No. People said, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I'll drink the Coke. I'll drink the Coke. I'll drink my tea. No. We never agreed to no sugar drinks. No. You said no Starbucks. Come on. Be honest. You said no Starbucks, Arctic. During hard times, we learn that you can go without a lot. Exactly. I've had hard times and I've gone without a lot. Okay. I have not had a Starbucks since the 4th, as I promised. In fact, I came back with 4 bottles of Starbucks last night, and I said, you know what? Now's a good time to not drink because I'm headed back. It's almost midnight. I can still drink it because Arctic and I agreed after the election on the 5th, we would start with no Starbucks. I went right by the Starbucks counter 3 times this afternoon and didn't get a Starbucks. No, you did. No, nice try. Other people were here. They heard what you said. Foot and mouth disease. Okay, thank you, Simri. Colonel Chris Wyatt, no sugar. Do you hear? No, I don't hear anything, Mad Max. I don't hear anything. Starbucks posing as Coca-Cola. Exactly. Antoinette said it was only Starbucks. That's what it was. It was Starbucks. Come on, guys. You can't be changing the rules. We'll have to go back and watch it. Well, you don't have to worry about me failing. I said that's why I said, and we joked about it. In fact, we joked about it a couple nights. I said, then I'll drink the Mexican Coke. Although I won't because it's too expensive. And they never have the damn thing. I mean, they only occasionally have the damn case. They always get the cases that have Fanta and Sprite and frickin' Coke. And it's $3. I don't want any Fanta. My Guy Fawkes celebrations. I didn't have Guy Fawkes celebrations because I was doing the election. Antoinette says I won't fail. No, and the whole thing, Arctic, is premised on my honesty and my honor because, I mean, you're not here to see if I'm drinking Starbucks. Only I would know if I'm lying. But I will tell you this. I've told people before I have a mini fridge, like a college fridge, in this room. It's on the other side of the computer on the wall. You can probably hear it in the background if you listen closely. It's usually full of Starbucks. All gone. I didn't get rid of Starbucks. Went to the basement, took it out of the fridge, put it back in the basement so that I have so I don't make a mistake. I don't reach in there and just out of habit grab one and crack it open and drink it because then I would have broken the rule. So yeah, yep. So I've taken steps to deal with it. So no, but it was Starbucks. It wasn't the other stuff because I never said I wouldn't drink iced tea. Nope, never said that. Never said that, man. Anyway. Yep. But guys, you can't say no sugar. Sugar's in all our food. I mean, what am I supposed to starve to death for a month? I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, it'd be great for weight loss, but it wouldn't last. It would just bounce right back. Iced tea and Coke are the same. Sweet tea is full of sugar, and Coke is full of sugar. Well, this is actually full of high fructose corn syrup. Boy, Tony. No, I don't need any Tony's looking at me. Well, the Starbucks mocha frappuccino that you drink, which I drink, Dogzilla, is licensed, produced by PepsiCo. It's not a Starbucks product. They just license it. Kathy says the pain in the hip started this. It's the sugar. No, the trauma to my hip is what caused the arthritis. Natural disasters are causing more natural disasters, but we as humans fueling the fire. Unfortunately, our fate already written. Find it, peace, and all. Okay. Well, you're drinking the wrong iced tea, man. If your iced tea tastes like crap, you are drinking the wrong iced tea. There are so many different versions of iced tea. I like the extra sweet one that you get from one of the brands, but I don't get it very often. Guy Fawkes here. A gang of about 12 tried to steal a couple of transformers from a substation down the road last night. They blew the place up by mistake. Good Lord. Yeah, sugar-free products are very expensive, but food has sugar. They put food in sugar too. Because all the vegetarians are eating all the plant that we. And besides, if I eat fruit, that has sugar in it. It's natural sugar in it. So, you know, you can't avoid sugar. You can try, but it's a very bland existence. Well, Mad Max, I mean, I'm not sure how it has to work. That's what I have to find out. That's one of the reasons why I haven't done it yet, is I need to find out about that. So the military won't pay for it. The Veterans Administration won't pay for it, potentially, because it's military related, service related. It's a consequence of my military service, and I have a rating. It's already been evaluated back in 2019. They said, yes, this is service-related. All of my ailments and issues were all service-related because I had spent my entire adult life in the Army, so it had to be service-related. Pete Liebenberg, I haven't read any email. Did you send me an email? Is that what you're talking about? I haven't read your email. No, I haven't read any email. I've been busy. After this will be the first time I have a few minutes to myself, guys. I mean, I keep telling people that, but somehow that's not getting through to folks. All right, Pete. I assume you sent under that name. My goodness, I got a lot of email today. Someone suggesting I try a diet. Let me see if I can find under your name. Nope, I don't have anything from a Pete. I don't have anything from anybody named Liebenberg. Can't read it if I don't have it. If you sent under some other name, then you need to just give me a hint or indication what it is. But I have nothing. I just did a search, nothing there. Nothing there. And I was never told what group. I asked earlier what group. I never saw it come up. Did that person tell me what group they wanted? Yeah, we had storms here earlier with Dogzilla. Yeah, starch just turned into sugar, you're right. $44,000 tons of methane per annum from 8 billion people's farts. Oh my God. Dogzilla just experienced climate change, Holden said. Arctic saying, all I can tell you is I had inflammation on trauma areas and took meds for years, drastically lowered my sugar intake, and have been off meds for 3 months now. Inflammation is manageable. Gotcha, Arctic. I got you. I don't disagree. Is that what your intent was? I thought you just didn't like the Starbucks. That's what you're going after. If your intent was to help make me healthier, okay. All right, but back to Mad Max. The problem is I don't know how this works. I'm enrolled in insurance with my retirement through TRICARE, and I don't know if I go to the VA, the Veterans Administration, for care, if I have to bring that insurance with me or they pay for it. Because I'm enrolled in VA healthcare. I just never gone there for it. It's midnight here. Wow, God, my arm hurts. I didn't like it, Utapi. I switched over and it didn't we have this conversation on email? I thought you and I had this conversation on email. I switched over and also told it here. I put it on. I turned on the TDM or whatever it is. I turned it on, and all it did was it logs me out of all of my every time. My browsers get logged out every time. I have to log back into everything. I have to log in every YouTube account. It's like 5 YouTube accounts. I have to log back into X every time. I have to know 1,000 passwords. It doesn't save any of my stuff. It just removes everything. It was a disaster. And I had all kinds of problems. So I don't want Windows 11 on this computer. I have it on my laptop, and I don't like it. I just thought I had to do it here, but I don't have to. So Artie, if your intent was to help me with the inflammation, why didn't you say so? I thought you hated the evil Starbucks. And it was a joke, for the bet. Love the sharpshooter, yes, but the intent was to help, so I'm not the only one just staring at them in the shop. Okay, gotcha, Arctic. All right, no, it's okay. That's a noble thing to get me to do it. Cool. All right. Utopia, I thought we talked about it, man. My apologies. No, didn't you help me? I thought you told me to go and reinstall the drivers for that because I changed that to TDM or TBM, whatever it's called. I changed that security setting and then rebooted the BIOS. And then afterwards, I had all kinds of trouble with my browsers. And it wasn't just my browsers, other things, because it's got that stupid setting. So I reverted back to it, and then I had trouble initially. Yeah, the logging out is a nightmare. That's a nightmare. Maybe it's half a bottle of whiskey we made the deal. I think that's what was going on. I was giving you a hard time about drinking that night. Yes, I know Utopia is a PC master. That's, TPM. Yes, okay, Arctic, it isn't just you and I that had too much whiskey. I think Utopia's had too much whiskey. Maybe, or I'm going senile. I didn't make this up because I didn't know. I wouldn't have said that in BIOS I have to reinstall drivers. I never would have thought of that. I would have thought that it's just something that's in the BIOS already. It just picks the drivers for the setting. But somebody told me to go back and reinstall the drivers. I never did do that. By the way, all these asshats that tell me, why do I stick my nose in South Africa's business? I should pay attention to America. It's none of my business what's happening in South Africa. God bless it. What's going on? I find this hilarious because, let me see if I can find these things. Where are they at? So here you go. So here is one South African sticking their nose in our business. So, and there's plenty of them. I just picked a few. So here you go. Karen Mullen says, I know it's hard to see it on social media platforms where people express so much hatred, bigotry, and ignorance, but determination, purpose, and humanity really are incredibly powerful. Zoran Mamdani and the hope he has inspired in so many people is evidence of that. So there's Karen Mullen sticking her nose in our business and our politics, a South African so-called journalist who, I don't know who she's, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Not going to say it. I'm not going to go down that road. So here we have Ulrich Janssen van Vuren. Born in Uganda, schooled in South Africa, now in New York City mayor. Truly incredible. No, not incredible. Disgraceful. Disgraceful. Ulrich Janssen van Vuren sticking his nose in our politics. Who is he? Who is he to do that? I mean, that's what South Africans tell me. The leftists tell me, who am I to say something about South Africa? Well, I'm actually a historian and political scientist. I'm going to play the Trump thing here in a few minutes, but I'm also going to play Cyril discovering a train. That was funny. Okay, here's another one. So here's another South African sticking his nose in our business. Ivan Sambo. Watching South African MAGA supporters lose their minds over an election of an American New York mayor is the most hilarious thing ever. So Ivan Sambo sticking his nose in our business. Yeah, but I'm not allowed to talk about South Africa, according to these people and others of their ilk. Here's another one. Here's Indolozi, this clown, with a new YouTube channel. Ugandan-born Zoran Mamdani, 32 years old. No, he's 34, genius. Is the newly elected mayor of New York City. He's Muslim, socialist, and a proud African. He's not a fucking African. He's the son of Africa's renowned scholar Mahmoud Mamdani, who's a scumbag, anti-white bigot. American people have shown Trump and his racist minions they have no fear. And, well, Lozy, keep your ass out of our politics. That's what I say. These assholes tell me to stay out of South African politics, but look at all these assholes in South Africa sticking their nose in our business. Here's another one. Here you go. Here's another asshat South African sticking their nose in our business. Of course, this is a monumental outcome, but don't miss the significance of the major flips in governor, lieutenant governor, mayor race, attorney general races across the land. Margin Democratic wins. It isn't only MAGA that has been sent a message, but Dems too. No, ready to lobby. You don't know what you're talking about. First off, there was one attorney general race in Virginia by a racist, bigot, and violent scumbag who got elected. And the governor in Virginia, a largely blue state, some are purple. New Jersey, a blue state. New York, a blue state. Overwhelmingly, the margins, of course, the margins. The margins weren't that great. They were standard historical. So these people know what they're talking about. Unbelievable. So these are all South Africans sticking their nose in our business. But, they're always telling me that I can't talk about South Africa. So now I'm going to play this is Cyril Ramaphosa discovering what a train is. This is comical. Here's Cyril, instead of being in Washington, D.C., negotiating the tariffs away that are having a devastating impact on the jobs and livelihoods and well-being of South Africans, 30% tariffs, what is South Africa doing? Cyril Ramaphosa is yucking it up on a train in Switzerland. What is he doing in Switzerland? While Steenhuisen, Parkstow, and Ronnie Lamola were yucking it up and doing the Lamola robot dance in Vietnam, and now Cyril's in Switzerland. Why isn't he in Washington? How about an ambassador? Why don't you have an ambassador in Washington, D.C.? We've now got the confirmation hearings for ours finally, but where's your ambassador? Why can't you send an ambassador? That is an insult of epic proportions. But here he is. Here's part of the freak show, discovering what a train is.
This is the first for us on this side to be in a train in Switzerland, a moving train, not just stationary. And having the opportunity to have breakfast on a train, but also to have interactions with people in government.
Well, Cyril, you used to have the blue train in South Africa. People could have breakfast on a train before criminals started throwing people off the train to their death. Remember that story? That's 20 years ago now. Yeah, you used to have that before you jackals took over the country. And there he is with Ronnie Lamola, that idiot in chief, driving. Why are they in Switzerland? Get the hell out of Switzerland. What business they have in Switzerland? So now I'm going to play the Trump one that was brought up earlier. So this is Trump earlier today. And talking about the G20. Now, I wrote a note to somebody in a WhatsApp group saying, I love how politicians are stealing my lines. I have been saying ever since South Africa became a member of became the president of G20 that South Africa shouldn't even be in the G20. There should be no G20. G7 was enough. There shouldn't even be a G20. There should be no Russia. There should be no China in the G7. It should just be a C7. That's it. Top economies. U.S., Canada, France, UK, Germany, Japan, and Australia. That's it. Nobody else. Nobody else. But now, even Trump's stealing my lines.
For generations, Miami has been a haven for those fleeing communist tyranny in South Africa. I mean, if you take a look at what's going on in parts of South Africa, look at South Africa, what's going on. Look at South America, what's going on. You know, I'm not going to, we have a G20 meeting in South Africa. South Africa shouldn't even be in the Gs anymore because what's happened there is bad. I'm not going. I told them I'm not going. I'm not going to represent our country there. It shouldn't be there.
Yep, no. So Trump talking about not going to South Africa. Yep. I've never heard of sarcopenia, muscle depletion. Trains in Europe are not excellent. Trains in Germany were excellent, but they're falling on hard times. Trains in the Netherlands are full of graffiti. Trains in France are incredibly expensive, but they're reliable. I was on trains in France and on a high-speed train. Pretty good. The TGV, pretty good. But ridiculously expensive. I mean, ridiculously expensive. But they do have a program where you can get tickets relatively inexpensively. And I did. I got a ticket for like $20 to get to Marseille from Lyon, which was shocking. It was a good deal during the World Cup when I was there. But trains in Japan are amazing. Trains in Japan are incredible. Yep. And the Shinkansen, wow. Oof. Whoa, I didn't know trains could move. Yeah, exactly. Trains in the UK suck. I've been on trains in the UK. It's the worst trains I've been on in Europe. I've been on trains in France, United Kingdom, Italy, Germany, Austria, Hungary, Romania, Croatia. Yeah, I've been on trains in all those countries. What was I was done? Yeah, they are fast. Lots of appeal. 50,000 voted for him in a city of 5 million registered voters. Exactly. All right. Yeah, the latest Windows is so bad I decided to switch to Linux again. Yeah, no, so I'm sticking with Windows 10. Hopefully I won't have more problems. I was having a problem, something weird going on. with one of my external drives not being recognized. I thought the drive was damaged, but I had to reboot, and then my computer locked up last night. I don't know what was going on. I looked for malware. I looked to see if there's a problem. I also looked to see if somebody tried to insert TeamViewer on my computer without my knowledge. That's not the case. Yep. What's very nice, Chugsy. All right, that's going to do it, folks. I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'm going to go hit the rack. I'm tired. It's after midnight. Instead of doing a video tonight, and then I'll get up in the morning. I've got some work to do. I wrote an article for a local newspaper about Veterans Day. Would you guys like to hear that before I go to bed? Would you like to hear my article? It's not long. Anybody want to hear my article? You'll hear it before it's published. Just give me a yes. Been on the blue train. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, it was. Was amazing. Yep, that was a long time ago. Many people in the last 2 weeks, and everybody appreciates what you do. Thanks. You're welcome, Mad Max. Okay, here we go. So here's my article for the paper, okay? Okay, that's not it. That's the South. Okay, that's not what I was looking for. Well, here we go. I got it. Okay, here we go. So give me a second here. I'm going to close this off too. Whoops, I don't want that. I want to see one page. View, one page. Now zoom, bigger. Here we go. Well, that's too big. I zoom it down a little bit there. There we go. As we approach the annual commemoration of Veterans Day, a date when we honor and remember the sacrifice of all our veterans who've served in uniform, supporting and defending our Constitution, guarding freedom at home and abroad, it's time to reflect on our brothers and sisters who defended the gates of freedom during the Second World War. Today, 80 years after the end of that global conflict, fewer than 50,000 of the more than 16 million who served still walk among us. The number of living U.S. military veterans is declining due to the aging and passing of older veterans, particularly those from World War II and other past conflicts. As a percentage of the adult population, veterans peaked at over 40% in 1970. Today, veterans represent only 14% of the country's adult population. From 2005, when there were 23.5 million living veterans, the number has dropped to approximately 15 million in 2025. The contributions of our World War II veterans and their role in making America a global power have been immeasurable. Those who remain with us are nearly all centurions, a remarkable achievement in longevity. The youngest World War II veterans are now over 97 years of age. As the experiences of that horrific conflagration fade into the pages of history books, it's all too easy to forget how they ended Nazi fascism and Japanese imperialism, which had imperiled freedom-loving souls the world over. Over 407,000 American military personnel made the ultimate sacrifice, with over 670,000 more wounded. For the fallen, there were no parades to see, no birthdays or weddings to experience, no children to raise, no homes to buy, no picket fence lives. They gave the last full measure. Today, so far removed from those events, it's often difficult to fathom their experience. Thankfully, our modern wars, unlike Russia and Ukraine's brutal conflict, result in very few combat deaths. Take a moment this Veterans Day to reflect on the contributions of our World War II veterans as their numbers dwindle around us, succumbing to the realities and ravages of Father Time. While there are still over 1 million surviving Korea War-era veterans alive today, they are also approaching an age where many will not be with us in just a few short years. Their experiences on the Korean Peninsula, at home and overseas as the Cold War got underway, were also instrumental in elevating the United States to its status as the preeminent global power. From the demilitarized zone to the Pusan perimeter, the Yalu to the Choson Reservoir, Japan, Hawaii, and in North America, their deeds were epic. But their war was our first unpopular conflict. Like those who were at Trenton, Gettysburg, San Juan Hill, Bataan, the Battle of the Bulge, Americans fought for faith, family, and the flag. Let us not forget the Korean War-era veterans who stood on that wall and defended freedom. Today's military is smaller, more diverse, and comprised entirely of volunteers. With the end of the draft in the mid-1970s, compulsory military service was no longer a common experience for most young men. Professionalization of the military also means fewer Americans, in proportion to the general population, have served or will serve in uniform, thereby potentially fracturing civil-military relations. Let us remember all who have served honorably in peace and in war, from Lexington to Monterey, from Havana to ships at sea, from Belleau Wood to Corregidor, Khe Sanh to Saigon, Hafar al-Batin to Mostar, and to all points in between. America is our home. We earned it. We built it, and this will defend. And that's my article. What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, St. Christopher is a guy for travelers. Yep. The article is what journalism is supposed to look like. Try to get some quality sleep. Okay, thanks, Krista. Thank you, Leslie. Shelley. A+. Thank you. All right, so you want to know how long it took me to write that article? You want to know? Now, I'm an author. I write, and I write other things longer, and sometimes take. But do you know how long it took me to write that? Less than an hour. But the hour was because I edited and had typing mistakes, and I changed a few words so it wasn't redundant, and so it read better. Yep. Now pictures for us dum-dums. So I got to eat collagen. Isn't that stuff you get injected into your lips? All right. Okay, guys. I'll see you later today for South Africans. Well, for everybody, it's after midnight now, except for the people out in the mountain zone and the Pacific Coast like Dogzilla and Light Rain. All right. Crypto Noob is here. All right, guys. Thanks. I never did find that email from Mr. Liebenberg. Apologies for that. And I also didn't see which group that person went in. But here, let me do this before we go. Okay, I won't go yet. Let me do this real quickly here. So let me look at the RFD groups. I think that might be what the person was interested in. So I think they're short on people now. So members, 969. So we can add members to this group. Okay, add members. Whoops, that's not what I want. I want to invite Vega Luke. So copy link. Okay, so this is a link to the group 2. Okay, we're at 969. So if anybody wants to join that, it's here. Now remember, that's just to view stuff. You don't get to post there. That keeps the riffraff out. Not that any of you are riffraff, but there are people that are riffraff. So that's that. The original one here, the first group I created, has 1,001. So 24 people can join this one. Okay. So here you go. I will wrap up here, and then I will give it a couple minutes to see if anybody wants to join that. There's the link for the second one. Okay. That's the original one. Space for people in there. Okay. If you want to join it. Okay. That's your call, not mine. Okay. All righty. Hey, Charles. Fred Baranga. Okay, well, Fred, let me look and see. Yep, got it. Okay, I'll try to read that when I get a chance. Thank you for that. Okay, appreciate it. There's a problem on a group you were forced onto. Okay. A group that somebody put me in? Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll try to address some of the email in the morning if I have time, but I've got to work on tomorrow's special meeting for the veterans. It's going to take a lot of my time tomorrow, so I'll try to do that. And then Friday, I get to catch my breath, finally. Excuse me. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dogzilla, for your input tonight. We had a lovely discussion, especially eviscerating all those leftist ideas. I love that. Thank you so much for that. Cheers, everybody.